All right, so this one is a 60-foot panorama all the way from the Bay Bridge.
60 foot?
60 feet. This print is 60 feet all the way around.
Is this new?
It's been here a little while.
A little while?
Bonacore is trying to reshoot it. I actually had to put a dark print up here because everybody said, oh, this is the entertainment room and we watch movies in here, so we don't want to be distracted. It has to be dark.
Okay.
We have a lighter version, but, people just love this shot. So.
And then employees.
We have some crazy ones. This was taken by the San Francisco Chronicle when we were in our home. That's our old home page. That was when we were 4 employees, starving, not making any money. And this was 2 years later when we dyed our hair green and put a green logo on the dog to celebrate getting to $1 million a year in sales and being profitable. And, this is when, I don't know, 3 or 4 years later, when we actually got a building and had employees, and it's been kind of an exciting progression. We need to do some more photos. And
then this one is, what were you celebrating here?
So I had a motorcycle website. I still have it. It's one of the largest motorcycle websites. It's an irrational passion. Don't ask me why I have it. And it's for adventure motorcyclists who ride around the world. So some guy sent me this, which I assumed was a loincloth. So I put it on to take a photo of it to show him, that I appreciated it. Thank you. And it turns out it's not a loincloth. It's a brassiere for African teenage girls. And I didn't know that. So he printed it out, and all through Africa he showed it to all these villagers, and they got the biggest laugh. It's the biggest fashion faux pas I ever made, and I made a lot of them.
Nice.
So the dogs of SmugMug. The puppies. Some of the photos went viral. There was there's a puppy going by right now. One of the puppies picked up my wife's bra and ran around with it, and I posted it on Facebook and got like 1,000 shares and everything else. I tried to be Trey Ratcliffe and shoot an HDR of this wonderful museum in Prague, and because I couldn't get anybody to shoot a large HDR, and this is a fairly large print. You can see it's as large as I am.
Yeah.
So we actually have a huge HDR print of Prague, which goes all the way down a hallway, but it's not up today because we had to do some construction. We have to replace the sheetrock for the fire marshal.
Gotcha.
You might want to pause till we go to the other building. So I believe this to be the most amazing photo taken of the last century. It just is impossible that this shot could be made. It's a very high res. If you got close to it, you could see every detail of people and everything else. Taken in 1906, after the city fell down and burned down from the earthquake. You couldn't take one this high res today from a helicopter. How would you stitch it together and make it still and all that? And we're talking about the films of 1906. It's just impossible. What this guy did, George Lawrence, he was an engineer, is he built his own camera with a 48-inch by 16-inch negative. Okay. With a lens as big as your head, or my head, and that's big. And he made a lot of money off this print because he sold thousands and thousands of copies in poster size. They were contact prints, 48 inches. Who builds? Ansel Adams shot with an 8 by 10-inch camera. We thought that was enormous. Mm-hmm. This is 48-inch negative. Who ever heard of something like that? But here it is a century later, one of the highest res photos we have on our walls. There were no helicopters to fly from. He put that 53-pound camera with that enormous lens on an array of box kites, somehow got it aligned down Market Street, somehow got it still, and somehow fired the shutter from a battery he had down there. He put a solenoid up on the camera to go click. And then you point it, you aim it, you get it perfect, you develop it and see if you got it. This is not the age of digital. And of course, we just love these old photos with guys on girders and things like that. So, okay.
Yeah.
Next building. Yeah, so these wedding shots are great. We love them, but we're going to go super drama and put a 94-inch light box in here that will just fill up this whole wall of some massive print. We're still trying to, shoot one of San Francisco or get one from Joe Azur or something like that.
Nice. All right, let's go to the other building. All right, and here we are in the other building.
So the first thing that we get greeted by is this shot of Patrick Smith's of the Golden Gate Bridge. I actually commissioned Patrick to do this shot, and the other stanchion of the bridge goes all the way around. It didn't quite fit in here, so if you go around the corner, you see the other stanchion. He shot this, if you can believe. Patrick believes that, hey, there's Bonacore.
What's up, JARVIE?
So Patrick believes that there's only 7 minutes where the ambient light is the same as the building lights.
Ah, yes.
You got to take advantage of that 7 minutes.
That's what I talk a lot about when I do my architecture type stuff. I really like being at that moment where it's the same.
So how do you shoot 4 rows of a high-res panel like this in that 7 minutes? You can't. So Patrick decided that he would take 4 rows from 4 different nights. So he went up there 23 times. This is one night, this is another night, that's another night, that's another night. And he got 4 nights that are pretty similar and blended them together to make that shot. And I do love it, and I want to print it bigger because we're moving into, there's a space across the way where I can print it bigger. But I didn't like the fact that there's these black holes in here. Like you can't see into Golden Gate Park. And he shot it with a 5.2D Mark II, which kind of crushes the blacks. But also, it, the lighting only, the Golden Gate Park is not lit up. So what he did is he shot a new one under moonlight where the moon is coming up over here and it reflects off the water and it filled in all the light in Golden Gate Park and all that. So I'm buying that from him, and we're taking this down and putting that one up, and it's going to be awesome.
I'm liking this one.
Yeah, so this is shot by David Osborne in...
you got him on 4 different metal panels, and I think that's pretty...
Yep, Bay Photo metal panels. This is shot with a Seitz camera, S-E-I-T-Z. It's a 6x17 format. It's 165 megapixels, so one click to rule them all. And it's quite a dramatic photo. He's done a nice job of enriching it with post-processing. This is Prague. It's a view of Prague from the Charles Bridge that... not many people have seen, that I just loved. It's one of the few HDR black and whites around, and you see how big it is. It's we could make it much bigger. That's the Prague Castle up there. And to get this shot, my pregnant daughter-in-law and I went on that bridge at 5 in the afternoon when it was snowing and cold, and we didn't get the shot until 11:20 because we just got a small window where it wasn't snowing on the bridge.
Yeah.
But it was still snowing up in the castle, so we stood there shivering until we got it.
Gotcha.
So here's a shot around the corner. Some German guy shot this, and I got intrigued by it because I love to have photographers come here and ask them, how did he shoot that? And nobody can answer because I can't answer it either. I can't figure it out. But it is a panel because it's got 9,000 by 9,000 pixels, and you see this guy appears in here twice. I don't know how he did it. Some kind of panel with a fisheye, I guess. So
that is pretty intriguing.
So I'll show you a couple more photos.
Okay.
So World Series, San Francisco Giants, go Giants. I walk in there. I can't take a very big camera in there because the security people don't let you bring in a pro camera. And I think, what am I ever going to shoot that Vincent LaFerré or 100 years of great photographers of World Series have shot? I can't. So I sit down with my lower lip out in the audience and think, well, my experience with panos would do something. So I put on a little bit longer lens and I stand up and go click, 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 click every time something happens. Up I go click, 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 and then I chirp through it and see what I got. And you notice here, when you start, people are standing up and going, yay, go! Because there's somebody about to score, there's somebody rounding third, and you can see it all. It's all brought in because the lens is longer. If I used a fisheye, it would be pushed way in the back and everybody's seeing that perspective, but instead I use a little bit longer lens. And what's interesting is it's kind of time-lapse. As fast as I could shoot it, these people are anticipating this runner maybe crossing home plate, but by the time you get to that, he's already crossed it and there's the catcher, so it's a few moments later, and then by the time you get over here, people are celebrating. So sometimes when people come in here and they see this print, they just die to get one. There's baseball enthusiasts who have it over their mantle like 150 inches wide because they think this is the most exciting print they've ever seen in their life. And actually it was just taking advantage of our pano experience. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I love that one.
Okay, so the Yosemite one down at the end.
Might as well do the full tour. We're already 20 minutes in, so.
So this is Leaping Jaw again, the Chinese subscriber that did the beautiful landscapes.
Does he live in China, or is he around here? Or?
He was in the peninsula for a while, and he was quite a student of Bill Atkinson's photography and so on. This is just the tunnel view in Yosemite. There's been 10 million shots of the tunnel view in Yosemite, but he comes up with one of the best ones ever. It's like one of the most popular shots on SmugMug. And the way he did it, he said, is he put somebody up there to notify him in the middle of the night when the mist was there.
Okay.
And he went up and shot it with a little bit longer lens to bring things in, and he got the mist, and it's all blue and cold and beautiful. So what I've been looking for from JARVIE is getting up on a ledge like that, but more at night when the golden lights of the road light up the fog, and city, village, and all that lights up the fog.
Was this during the? No, this was during the morning.
Yeah, this one was morning, but I was thinking
the morning.
I've seen one at night. It wasn't high enough res to print this big. I've seen one at night from a guy in Stockton that was beautiful, but I need more pixels like your D800 would provide.
Yeah.
And cleaner. So I'll show you a couple inside employees' offices, for example, the kind of things they do. We hire an awful lot of photographers, and Travis is one of those. This is Travis.
Hello.
Hey, can you explain that big photo back there? Fast.
It's the Ferris wheel at Pripyat from Chernobyl. So it's been abandoned for 25 and a half years now. When I took the picture, it was 24 and a half years. Hasn't seen a single person since then. It's pretty radioactive.
So it's pretty awesome. And he shot multiple shots, to get it high res enough for the big
It looks
photo.
like. Oh, I see the difference in panels. How many
81
different panels are there in the printing?
Two.
Wow.
We have
Big picture.
There's a printer in San Francisco that has an Osei light jet with a 72 by 120 inch bed,
Okay.
and that's how we print a lot of these.
And then
Yeah, he did a really nice. So the city's really known for fog, and I shot mine on a stormy night, but he shot his on a foggy night, which I actually like better. And so I love the light and how he did this. You might ask, well, then why isn't this the big one? Because it's so lovely. And the answer is, he had a jittery tripod, and so it could make a small print, but not a really big print.
Okay.
But it's beautiful. So Bonacor's mission is to get that, but in high res, so we can print it really huge.
Okay.
I'll show you inside another employee's office.
For our final picture.
Yeah, so... Did you guys hang some photos in here?
Oh yeah, we don't have them hung up yet.
Oh, they just moved in there. These are the QA guys. And
Okay.
their thugs.
They're on the
And-
ground, dude.
Yeah, so let's flip on some
More
lights
sports.
and show. So these guys are really good photographers too, and you see they have their metal prints scattered all over the place, and they also like sports. But they do all kinds of things. They're very versatile photographers. These are the kind of people we have in our QA group. And JARVIE like portraits, beautiful.
That one is. I wish we took that one.
Just they moved in.
wish.
Nice, huh? So it's Evan and Eric, and the engineers fear them because they find the bugs and go up to the engineers and say, fix it.
That's right. That's right.
That's putting it mildly.
They call themselves the Goon Squad. Their hoodies like to say things like, we break things.
That's right.
Nice.
Destroy.
So, what happens when you fill the walls? Do you just go get more?
The floors, look down. So the next big project is we're going to put photo flooring down, and they're going to be photos that look straight down. There's a shot that I'm trying to get permission for that took second place in Epsom's panel competition of Central Park looking straight down. Plus I have some that I've shot underwater in Fiji and over the Golden Gate Bridge that are just straight down, so you get this sense of vertigo when you walk in here going, ah, ah.
And then ceilings, and then.
Well, the fire marshal has something to say about the ceilings.
Okay.
So we're not so sure about that because if a fire starts and they melt and they come down on people,
Gotcha.
they don't want that.
Oh, nice.
We might be able to find some materials for some ceiling.
You just have to expand
Yeah.
to a bigger location once you fill up the walls.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, this is fun. It was a fun little walkthrough. You get to see a lot of pictures
Yeah, thanks for coming.
and 2 parts.
Come back in a few months because we're putting up a whole bunch of new ones.
Okay.